Hi, I'm Karen Gibbs, Creative Director of Banyan Boutiques by Northcott, and we're reviewing the April 2022 release. And this collection, Quilt-inspired backgrounds, is going to be in stores in December. There's 15 SKUs in this particular collection, and generally when I do a collection, I focus on lights, mediums, and darks, and larger prints and smaller prints, and all in a cohesive collection, because then it works really well in a project. All right, this one's a little bit different, kind of like its sister collection, Quilt Inspired Borders. This one focuses all on backgrounds, just the backgrounds. Why would I do that? Well, backgrounds, stores are always looking for a ton of lights or a ton of background kind of prints to make their boutique walls sing. And while we do have some amazing backgrounds in the essentials, you got to take a look at those. And that's actually where I focused Catan to start with, was the neutrals, the grays and the beiges. I wanted, there's just quite the opportunity to do more. It's wonderful to play with this. This is a great opportunity to do a fabric pull, pulling these headers out and throwing some of the essentials on there, taking the essential headers and putting them on there and just showing how they work so beautifully with the different essentials, and showcasing how these backgrounds can make it such a vibrant project as a result, not using just a plain background. Backgrounds also are wonderful for any type of project. If you think of like a modern quilt that doesn't usually have a border, a background is quite important when you're selecting it. If you're looking at a traditional quilt with the saturated colors in it, you want to choose something that just makes those colors sing. And sometimes having a little bit of maybe that purple in the background, or that pink, or the gray, or the green, or any of that just makes it very vibrant. All right. Another thing with the backgrounds don't have to always be the lightest one at the table, right? They don't have to be that. If you look here, and this is a project, I pulled these fabrics from a project on page 16. I think it's called Flawed Diamonds. Make sure you check out the lookbook. But you can see in Flawed Diamonds, the lightest one is not the background. The lightest one is a BFF. But it allows, if you've got a great background, it allows the project to sing, to have the lights and have the darks, and then it makes it a more dynamic project. A background is the supporting cast. So your supporting cast, you need to be very strong as well. And that's what we came up with the quilt-inspired backgrounds. Now, if you look at the project on, let's see, on page Bangles and Beads, on page 18, and you flip to the charts in the back, you're going to see that what is the biggest cut of fabric for that particular project. And what that is your background, okay? So most of the cuts in a project are maybe 1 yard, or about 1 yard or less. In this particular one, and I'm using this just as an example, right? But the background in that is more like 2.5 yards. Okay, so focusing on the backgrounds, making sure that your store has enough of the lights and the backgrounds that make the boutique walls, all the fabrics on that boutique wall sing, is really important. So sometimes if they're looking at a particular SKU that they think they can use in a project, make sure you pick up a couple bolts for it, because you use a larger cut on there. Another thing is the project in here that I just love, it's a free download. It's called Dash Lines. And if you want a soft palette and just a soft project that's simple and sweet, go ahead and kit that one up. It's wonderful because it does use a whole bunch of the quilt-inspired backgrounds all in one. So yes, they can play together as well. But the focus of them is to make sure that stores have the backgrounds, because it's all about the sell-through then, finishing the project, being able to do a fabric pull. And I've got fabrics here. You can see lots of different fabrics, like I said, with my essentials, and being able to do that fabric pull, looking at the boutique wall and saying, okay, we have a tendency to go a lot of the earth tone cells, so maybe this palette of the quilt-inspired backgrounds would be great for that particular store. Maybe it's the purples and the pinks up there. Maybe you need to bring in a little bit of aqua or something like that. But that gives you more of an opportunity to showcase the different essentials and the different collections we have coming with Banyan Batiks. Another project that we have in the lookbook as well as on the shake card is the Madison Star. And the Madison Star is a project I designed, and it uses the backgrounds, it uses the borders, it also uses the essentials. It actually can use any Banyan batik that you want. It works really, really well. It's a Bargello project. Oh my goodness, Bargello. It's almost like paper piecing. It's not a 4-letter word. But when you start to do things like paper piecing or Bargello, you're doing a lot of seams. And when you're doing a lot of seams, that's using a lot of fabric, which we like to use a lot of fabric in our projects, right? But the Bargello, it's a different technique in Bargello, the Madison Star. It's filling in a space. So this is a wonderful project or program that your stores can do. And hey, they can win a weekend, Madison Star Marathon weekend, where I will come out to their store and teach a batik or have a batik lecture the Thursday night, talk about all the different ways batiks are made, all the different processes from design to when it lands on their shelves and everything in between. It helps educate their consumer. And then we'll have a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where the students in the class will get their quilt finished. Actually finished, which is fabulous because then you're choosing borders, which means you're going to need a lot of quilt inspired backgrounds and borders to go with that particular project. Okay, so it's a wonderful class, and they're if they do the Sweet 16 with quilt inspired backgrounds and borders, they're automatically entered to win a weekend with me, basically. And I'm super excited about that program because selling through or finishing projects is really important right now for our quilt stores. Okay, the Madison Star Marathon weekend, like I said, it's a weekend. They'll finish the project and they'll start planning their next one because it's super easy. And it's all about having the students have a wonderful experience and learn something new. So I know it looks a little complicated, but it's really not. It's strip sets. Okay, so make sure you check that out, and if you have any questions, let me know on that. But Quilt Inspired Backgrounds does deliver in December with Quilt Inspired Borders. Make sure you check out the projects that are in the lookbook as well as the charts in the back that showcase other colorways.